Over, I'm going to be sitting here grading papers, unless she needs me. Please don't do that to the K. Can you hold it? You don't need it now.
All right, I'm going to pass out the text we're going to read. So, let's see, I'm going to just pass it, and can you pass it down your row? So I've got, okay, so just, Nyla, you just pass it down there. And Austin, pass it down your row. And Logan, yeah, just pass it down. Just raise your hand if you didn't get a sheet, because I have extra. So, yeah, Zach, I'm sorry. And Amari, you just pass it down your row. Okay. And just raise your hand if you didn't get a copy of the text.
I have extra.
You have extra? Okay, can you just pass it up, and I'll get it from Austin. All right. Did everyone get a copy of Island of the Blue Dolphins? Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, and then I'm gonna get my dry erase marker. I'll be right back. Thank you. All right. Okay, so good morning, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Yeah. Today we're going to. Today our objective is I'm going to be teaching a lesson about literary elements, and I know all of you are already familiar with things like character and setting, and I'm going to teach a little bit more about plot and theme. I know you're sort of learning about plot and theme, but that's something that I'm gonna write this up on the board. Who can tell me, what do you think? What is plot? What is the plot of a story? Are you TJ? Yes, TJ.
It's the stages, or the order in which a story goes.
Okay, the order of a story. And Austin, what is plot?
The very beginning of the story.
Okay.
Like what's going on.
Okay, do you think it's the beginning of a story? Okay, that could be, and it could also be the middle and the end of a story too. So, yes, Ainsley?
Is it the whole, like it's the main thing of the story?
Can you elaborate more on that? What do you mean by main thing
Like
of the story?
it's the climax and the exposition and the resolution. And
Okay, the climax
rising
and the resolution? Okay. So the climax and resolution. So we can also think of the plot as it's the major events in the story. It's just what is happening. So it's the sequence of events. And I think you guys learned about cause and effect. So it can also be the sequence of events in a story which affect other events through cause and effect. So I'm going to write the major events. So you don't have to write this down, but I'm just going to keep this up here so when you do your color marking, you'll know what plot is. So it's the major events in the story. And who can tell me, what is theme? What do you know about theme already? Yes, what is your name?
Matthew.
Matthew, yes, I'm going to read.
Theme is like kind of a moral lesson.
The moral lesson, good. So theme, the moral lesson. What else could theme be? Yes,
What the
TJ?
story's about.
What the story's about, okay. The subject of the story. And a theme could be, it's also like an idea that keeps recurring throughout the novel. So you might see it again and again. So I'll just put a recurring idea
It's
throughout.
like a saying.
Yes, Matthew?
It's like a saying.
A
A saying.
It's a saying?
Like when you
What do you mean by a saying?
like it's teaching somebody about something.
So it's like a lesson?
Yeah, like yeah, it's like a lesson. Like when you're watching it, it's teaching you what not to do.
Like a moral lesson?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Aesop's fables.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
the thing
Cisco.
is like the two big ideas of the story.
Okay,
Like
so
some,
big ideas, I like that word. Yeah, the big ideas, key ideas, big ideas of the story. And it can also be the moral lesson. Yeah, we have that what TJ said, the moral lesson. And it could be a recurring idea. And yes, it's the main idea or an underlying meaning of a literary work. And it can also be the experiences of the main character. So, and it can be some examples of themes.
Rajon, please go to the shed. They're waiting for you to go to the woods. Rajon, please head to the woods.
So, okay, Matthew? Yeah. Okay. Let's be silent. Okay. So, some examples of themes are like love and friendship, war, crime and mystery, and revenge. So those are all examples of themes. Yes, Matthew?
Should a theme be like a fairy tale?
A fairy tale is more like a genre.
Oh, okay.
But you can pull out a theme from a fairy tale. Okay. So, before we start reading, before I have you read Island of the Blue Dolphins, I'm going to show you how to color mark a text. Because after we read, I'm going to have you color mark all your text of Island of the Blue Dolphins. So I'm going to use an example up here, which this is an example of a text you've already read, so I'm not going to read it again because you've already read chapter 7 of the K. So I'm just going to model for you how to color mark a text, because this is something that some of you might know how to color mark, some of you might not. So after we read Island of the Blue Dolphins, you are going to color mark for character, setting, and a major theme. So, for example, if I'm reading this chapter from the K, I'm going to first color mark for character. So I would use blue, and one character is Stu Cat. So I would color mark for it. So this is how you color mark. You just highlight the word. So I highlighted Stu Cat, and then Timothy is another character. And can anyone find another character in this? Yes, Ainsley. I'm sorry, Marley. Philip, good. And since it's told in the first person, there is no mention of Philip, but there's I. So I'll just highlight the I in here. So those are our characters. And so on my key at the bottom, I'm just going to put a little circle here. Which, yes, Amari? Okay, so young boss is another character?
No, it's Philip.
Oh, Philip, yeah. I repeated. Never leave me alone, Timothy. Yeah, Timothy is another character. We already highlighted for Timothy. And yeah, right here, yes, young boss. So that's yeah, that's Philip. Yes. So as you can see, I highlighted Stu Cat, Timothy, young boss, which is Philip, and I, who is also referring to Philip. And then at the bottom, I put a circle, which indicates this is going to be your key, and then I'm going to write the word character in here. So I have character right there. So do you understand? Okay. So now I'm going to color mark for setting. So I'm going to use pink. So I found the beach. Can anyone else see other examples of setting here? Yes.
That says the K at the top.
The K, good. So we have, yeah, the K. So I'm going to highlight, or color, I'm going to color mark the K. I color mark the beach. And let me see if there's any more examples of, any descriptions of setting. So I'm color marking for descriptions of setting. There's the beach. Did anyone, yes.
The island.
That.
He says the island itself.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this island, yeah. So I'm color marking, yeah, so this is great. So we have the beach, the K, and the island. So on the key at the bottom, I'm gonna put the pink color, and then I'm gonna put the word setting. So these are all. And then last, I'm gonna color mark for a theme. So I'm gonna use my yellow highlighter. And this is a little harder, so I'm going to just color mark for evidence of a theme. So, for example, Timothy says, there is nothing to fear here. So, fear could be a theme. So I'm going to color mark this whole phrase that Timothy says. And there's other examples of, yes, never leave me again is a good example of like love and friendship. Yes, Emily?
So when we do this one, we have to use multiple colors.
Pardon?
So when we do this one, we use multiple colors.
Yes, you're going to use multiple colors. So just like I'm showing you, you're going to use one color for character, one color for setting, and then you're going to use one color for theme. So just like I'm doing up here. So I highlighted this yellow for a theme, and then I found another theme, Never Leave Me Again. And that's an example of, so at the bottom, I'm going to color mark that, and then I'm going to write the word theme. So, okay, can anyone find another, I know this is a little harder, but can anyone find another example of a theme, evidence of a theme from this excerpt up here? Yes, Emily? There's palm trees. And how's that an example of a theme? Pardon me? Okay, where they are. So like this would be setting. Yeah, so I'll highlight, so I'll use the pink now, and I'll highlight the palm trees. Yeah, down toward the, yeah. So, yeah, he says palm trees. So good. Emily brought up that palm tree is another example of setting. So when you color mark your own text, you can use examples like palm trees, or just anything that gives a description of the setting. So, and let me see if I can find one more examples of theme. Let's see. Yeah, go, Amari.
There'll be on the page.
Where is that? On the.
Oh, I'll read what it says about the leaf. That's what
They're stranded on the K? Yeah, so that could be a theme is like the idea of survival. So we'll find evidence of they're trying to survive in this text here. Let's see. So he said something like, will be a good place for a lookout. So that's an example of survival. They're trying to keep a lookout for the airplanes. And another one is they took out a keg of water. So that could be another example of theme of survival, the keg of water. And then the tin of biscuits and chocolate. So as you can see, I'm color marking that yellow to indicate that all is evidence of a theme. So when we think of the theme, we can think of So on your own text, you might want to be more specific and say what themes they are. So we have survival. Can anyone else think of a theme of this chapter 7? Besides survival? Any other themes? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. What other themes can we pull out from chapter 7? Yes, Amari? What? Big idea. Yeah, theme is a big idea, but what is, more specifically, what is the theme of chapter 7? So thinking of things that like love and friendship, war, big idea. Yeah, Philip gets mad at Timothy for leaving him. So what is that? And what theme does that represent? Anger. Sort of anger. Yeah. There's an emotion. Philip is emotional because Timothy has left him. But what is the theme that we can pull from that? Yeah, maybe fear, Austin.
Anger.
And anger. Okay, so we can say, yeah, fear is a theme. So fear, because remember, Timothy says there is nothing to fear here, because Philip is afraid. And another theme, yes. Justice, are you Justice? Oh, no. Darian, yes.
He said, I know it's been a mistake to bring us here.
Uh-huh. We're trapped here? Oh, okay. Do you think we are on one of those caves?
Down.
Maybe young boss, maybe? Is that the one, Darian?
Yeah,
Now coming back to me, yes. What is that an example? What is that an example? I knew he'd made a mistake in bringing us ashore, I said. Yes, so what is that theme?
He's kind of mad, frustrated, because he didn't want to go there and he wanted to go to a different cave.
Yeah, so he's kind of frustrated. So that can represent fear and also like anger and frustration. But, yes, Nyla? They should have gone to a different cave? Yeah, so they're kind of concerned about, they thought they made a mistake. So bigger themes about this is love and friendship. So because, Philip is frustrated, so this represents a bigger theme of love and friendship. So we can just put a general, love and friendship. All right, so now I'm going to have all of you, I want you to all turn to your text, turn to Island of the Blue Dolphins, which is in front of you. And I'm going to we're all going to take turns reading this excerpt. This is a similar story. It's about a young girl who gets stranded on an island. And we're going to read the text, and then afterward I'm going to give you some time to color mark the text for character, setting, and theme. Yeah. Yes, if you have your own color highlighters, you can use your own. So, but first we're going to read the text, and then we'll color mark afterward. If you want to, okay. So I'm going to read the first part, and then I'm going to call on people to read the other parts of Island of the Blue Dolphins. So I want everyone to turn to your text, and let's be silently turn to your text. Yeah, just hold on a moment. I'm going to read the first part, and then I'll call on people to read. And if you don't want to read, just say pass. Just say pass, or I don't want to read, and that's fine. Okay, so Mattissafe divided the women into two groups. The boats were pushed into the water, and while they bobbed about, we scrambled into them as best we could. The cove was partly sheltered from the wind, but as soon as we went through the passage between the rocks and into the sea, great waves struck us. There was much confusion. Spray flew, the white men shouted at each other, the boat pitched so wildly that in one breath you could see the ship, and in the next breath it had gone. Yet we came to it at last, and somehow we were able to climb on the deck. So Cisco, can you pick up, and here the ship was large.
The ship was large, many times the size of our biggest cannons. It had 2 tall masts, and between them stood a young man with blue eyes and a black beard. He was the chieftain of the white men, for he began to shout orders which they quickly obeyed. Sails rose on a tall mast, and 2 of the men began to pull on the rope that held the anchor.
Thank you, Cisco. And for those of you who don't know, a chieftain is a leader of a tribe. So can I have Marley, can you read the next part? I called to my brother. Okay. Ainsley. Okay. Cap. Let's see. Okay. TJ. You can read. I called to my brother.
I called to my brother, knowing he was very curious, and therefore he would be in waves and anything. The wind drowned my voice, but he did not answer. The deck was so crowded that it was hard to move. But I went from one end to the other, calling his name. Still there was no answer. No one answered.
Thank you, TJ. Okay. And can I have? What is your name? David?
Yes,
Yes, David. Can you pick up there? The ship began to circle.
Okay, the ship began to circle, the kelp bed, and I thought surely that it was going to return to shore. I held my breath waiting, then slowly its direction changed. It pointed toward the east. At that moment I walked across the deck, and though many hands tried to hold me back, flung myself into the sea.
Thank you, David. And what is Kayla? Aaron, you can read the next part. A wave passed over my head.
A wave passed over my head, and I went down and down until I thought I would never behold the day again. The ship was far away when I rowed. Only the sails showed through the spray. I was still clutching the basket that held all of my things, but it was very heavy, and I realized that I could not swim with it in my arms. Letting it sink, I started off toward the shore.
Thank you, Aaron. And those of you who don't know yet, pitched is a word for pitch is a word for the ship was plunging down and rising up repeatedly. So, and then the next one is I could barely see. So yeah, Logan.
You could barely see the 2 rocks that guarded the entrance to Coral Road, but I was not fearful. Many times I had swum farther than this, although not in a storm. I kept thinking over and over as I swam how I would punish Grandma when I reached the shore. Yet when I felt the sand under my feet and saw him standing with the edge of the land, holding his fishing spear and looking so forlorn, I forgot all those things I planned to do. Instead, I fell to my knees and put my arms around.
Thank you, Logan. That was great. So, for those of you who don't know, forlorn means feeling miserable, lost, or abandoned. So that's the definition of forlorn. And can I have one last volunteer? Yes. Go ahead, Darian.
That day we spent gathering food. The wind blew and the waves crashed against the shore, so that we could not go out on the rocks. I gathered gold eggs off the cliff, and Remo speared a string of small fish in one of the tadpoles. He brought them home, walking proudly with the string over his back. He felt that in this way he had made up for the trouble he had caused.
Good. Thank you, Darian. Okay, Cisco, would you like? Okay, so Cisco will read the next part. With the seeds I had gathered in a ravine.
With the seeds I had gathered in a ravine, we had a plentiful meal. Although I had to cook it on a flat rock, my bowls were at the bottom of the sea. The wild dogs came again that night, drawn by the scent of fish. They sat on the hill, barking and growling at each other. I could see light from the fire shining in their eyes. At dawn they left.
Good, Cisco. Okay, and the ending is, the ocean was calm on this day, and we were about to hunt abalone among the rocks. For those of you who don't know, an abalone is an edible water animal that lives in a shell. From seaweed, we wove a rough basket, which we filled before the sun was overhead. On the way home, carrying the abalone between us, Ramo and I stopped on the cliff The air was clear and we could look far out to the sea in the direction the ship had gone. So this is the end of the excerpt. And for those of you who don't know, a ravine is a long, narrow, deep depression in the earth with steep sides, usually cut out by a flow of water. So it's kind of like a dent in the earth. So now that we've read this excerpt, which is an excerpt of Island of the Blue Dolphins, we're going to color mark the text. So what you're going to do is you're going to color mark for character, setting, and theme, as well as plot, just like I showed you. And you're going to color mark the text that you have in front of you. And then in the back of the text, I would like you to put the key. So just like I did down here, you're going to put a key at the back of the text. So when you're done color marking, you're going to put a key which tells me what color corresponds to which literary element. So you'll have a, yes. Yeah, if you can put it up there, yeah. For those of you who already did this, if you can also put it on the front of your sheet too. So this is on somewhere on the worksheet so I can see it. So you're going to color mark for character, setting, theme, and also plot. And I'm going to come around and circulate and help you. So I'll give you about maybe about 10 minutes. So come around, and I put the highlighters on each of your table groups. So I'd like you to share the highlighters if you can. And remember to color mark a different color for each literary element. So you should have a different color for character, a different color for setting, and a different color for plot, and a different color for theme. So take about 10 minutes to color mark your text, and raise your hand if you need help. I will come around and assist you. And if you're done, I'll check to make sure you did it correctly. Okay. So, and remember on the key in the back to not only put the colors, but put the name of the literary element and maybe a description. So if you're putting theme, put down something like love and friendship or survival, just like I put. Yes.
Like brother or character.
Yes, that's Rachel. Yeah.
David.
Oh, you have two colors, and then you're going to share colors of other people. So you can, like for example, the pink, and Aaron is pink. So just kind of show, because I don't have enough. Actually, I can give you I have more highlighters up here, so Nyla, I'll give you a, bless you. So if anyone needs more highlighters, I have some more up here. So you want the pink? Okay. So can I borrow your blue, and then I'll give Aaron, Emily, the blue. Yes.
For hiding a key like that.
Black is
Be a character.
What?
Okay, just raise your hand. Yeah, when did I have character?
No, it is. Is that a pronoun or a person?
There's Yeah, that's good for character, good. And did you highlight more?
Yeah, I'm about to do some
And
setting.
then next think about settings. So think about things that
The boats.
Yeah, the boats. And right setting.
The oceans, the water.
The water is an equal setting. That's Nicole. A ravine is like a dent in the land. So it's kind of like a trench, like a small valley. Yes, that could be an example of setting. So, and you're finding a lot of setting? Yeah. Good. Yeah, you can put that on the back. Yeah. By the way, the log it's a chieftain. Chieftain
You know what she was yesterday?
Yeah, so that would be an example of character.
You know what she is. You know what she is. Yes. She was naturally. When I walked up, she walked up to me and I said, "That's a nice ass." I was like,
Okay, that could actually be an example of more plot. So the event that happened. So, yes, Sam? Please? Yeah. More
So then, I'm stuck on this. So creativity and effort, highlight the story's elements. You definitely have to. Not. But is this the main character here?
I have a
Like C,
See what you think of your first
like phrases, bigger idea.
Take off, which is out of my way of giving you 3 extra clues.
That's a song.
It says on here, I need you to have
PPAP. That's what it's called. PPAP. That's a song.
Project section of homework was graded on the rubric. You got 100% if you turned in a project. What do you get? So that would give you a 90 and a 100%.
No, I just had to take legs and stuff.
Fair, except there is 100 projects.
Wouldn't ship go
Yeah, that project. But you left out that part, right? Those people are
It hurt.
my heart. I do that naturally.
you didn't have to.
I'm on every show.
I see Medusa.
Okay, so everyone finished? Silently, take about 3 more minutes. I want everyone else to love you, but silently finish, use the color marking, and take about 3 more minutes. Okay?
Color more.
And I'm coming around to help. I'll be with you.
My friend will be cheering.
Lizzie. Okay, yeah. So for those of you who are ready to highlight for theme, think about the big ideas like love and friendship and fear and survival. So just think about those big ideas and find a sentence or phrase that illustrates a big idea. Okay? So those of you who are on theme. And you can refer up here to our board, what a theme is. And you can use some of the same themes that we found in the K, but make sure to highlight evidence of the theme.
Can I see it?
Xmas chocolate blue.
Yes. Yes. And then when you do theme, write down the and your keys.
Yeah, that's not
When I let you use this, you let me use some like color Pepsi, and leave it in the shade for 15 minutes and then you drop it. But like, you
Or actually, you're going to keep your color marking. So if you're finished, just wait because you're going to take a break. So yes.
No. I'm just like slushy.
You highlighted for yes, character, and then go to setting. And then when you highlighted for theme, what were you thinking about?
I was thinking about
Water is the theme. Maybe you could talk about water and specifically like weather is a theme. So like so under things like water and waves. So good. Okay. So if you are finished, I would like you to under the theme part of your key, be more specific. Don't just put theme. Put things like survival, friendship, brotherly love. So if you're finished and you didn't put that, be more specific under theme. Put things like what I did up here. So put things like fear, love, friendship. So when you highlight it for theme, be more specific. And also under characters, maybe name the characters you highlighted for. And under setting, you can also be more specific. So if you're finished early, go ahead and do that. Just be more specific in your key. Yes. I should be. Make sure your eyes blue.
I'm actually highlight all the She literally put in positive response.
Gathered in the
Wait, characters. Wait, YouTube.
My dad met the. Oh, forgot.
We should have went to this thing. I got a handful of candy.
I was playing.
Oh, for more.
You got me. I have an example. And fear. No, oh, she was worried about her. Oh, you want to? So, Nicole, oh, yeah, you actually do this. Okay, great. Okay. Maybe if you can write maybe a sentence explaining what is one major theme in this text. So just so again, if you finish early and you're done with all your, you can write a sentence just explaining what is one big idea from the text. Okay, so I think most of you are finished now, so I want you to keep your color marking worksheet. So I want to, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a station rotation. So I think, let's see, I think you guys are going to have a break pretty soon. At, what time is there? About
2 minutes.
Okay, so you're going to take your break first, and when you come back, I'm going to give you a card with a dot on it, and you're going to, each of you is going to be in a group of, I'm going to have 4 groups, and there's going to be 5 people per group. And then when you come back, I'll explain what you're going to do. You're going to keep your color marking sheets, and for example, the blue group's going to be back there. You're going to write down the names of characters and the description. The green group is going to go back there and write down a description of setting. And then the yellow group will be up here. You're going to write down some big events that happened. And then the red group is going to be here, and you're going to write down some themes. And you're going to use your color marking sheets that you already have. So when you come back from the break, you're going to do that. So break.
I don't want to be lonely.